rest of today will be recovering of all the stores, accounting for it, and then moving it all back to Derby.
We wouldn't be able to come to a camp like this without the PSS.
I spent most of this week preparing the stores, making sure everything was ready. See, this is the glamorous side of it. You don't see. You're the bridesmaid, you're never the bride. And if you think you are, you're probably not doing it right.
This is Inside RFCA, the series that showcases the work of East Midlands Reserve Forces and Cadets Association. From Cadets and Youth to Estates and Engagement, we exist to champion, support and enable the Reserves and Cadets, because our people add value.
That'd be good, wouldn't it? My name's Steve Baker and I'm the professional support staff to D Company of Derbyshire ACF. So there are 4 companies in Derbyshire ACF, and D Company is the largest one of over 300 cadets and 50 odd adults as well. So it's a big company, and I'm the this is my day job. So I'm here to support them in whatever they do. So whether that's the provision of the stores and then bringing it to whatever location they want it at, and that includes on parade nights. So if they want to do something extra on parade night, like use radios or weapons, then I'm there to facilitate that. But also I recover the stores, I provide and make sure that the stores are safe to use. So as well as a safe place, and that is in conjunction with the Estates Department to make sure that the cadet detachment locations are safe and they're fully compliant with legislation for fire and everything else. But also the stores that I give them are clean, serviceable and safe. I'm what's called a Cadet Admin Assistant, a CAA. I'm the key holder for the detachment locations. And also I'm not in the chain of command, so the adults can come to me if they've got concerns or issues about things that are going on, and I can feed that into company headquarters. And there are occasions when I might have to report safeguarding issues, or I might have to report something that I've seen I'm not happy with. Could be behaviour, or it could be a concern that they've raised. So again, I'm not just a logistics person, you've got all these other sort of strings in your bow as well. You're the bridesmaid, you're never the bride. And if you think you are, you're probably not doing it right. Every year they get a field training exercise. So normally in the middle of the year, in the warmer months, where they spend a night under the stars or 2, and they do military style training in the field. So they do, you know, a lot of their cam and concealment, their field craft, and they hone those sort of skills. For the youngsters, this is the first time they'll have done that. And they've got weapons and blank ammunition. It is a great adventure for a lot of them. And they will have arrived Friday night by coaches. They will have had Friday night under the stars. Saturday will have been the main day. And today will have been a final exercise and then the wash up, if you like. So the rest of today will be recovering of all the stores, accounting for it, and then moving it all back to Derby. This is the final bit they've got left. So this is the dry area, if you like, where a lot of their own personal kit is still in here, and this will be taken out. This will be the last thing, their personal kit, they'll be put on the vehicles, and then a sweep and clean up of this building before we secure it. The rest of the stores are all out on the grassed area out there where the weapons and that have been cleaned, and the other stores have been separated into county stores and company stores, although they're all going back to Sinfin. That way, in the week, I can return them to where they should be, wash things that need to be washed, check everything for serviceability, and then return it to stock. So again, the adult staff are doing that at the moment with the cadets to make sure everything's ready for us.
Cool. Go and take a look.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Well, this will be the county stores. So as well as all the stores, all the waste that they've created over the weekend, all that gets returned to Sinfin too and put in the bins there. So we take everything with us. It's just like the military in that sense. We train green. We don't leave any trace behind of where we've been. And of course, following the countryside code, and it's the decent thing to do and the proper thing to do. So everything's got to be double bagged and returned to Sinfin. But again, there'll still be some rejigging to go there because I'm still not 100% happy with the way that's been stowed. But it's got to be put on there properly and the weight distributed. And that'll be pulled by the adult staff in the trailer. The other trailer has got the company stores, so stuff from their own storeroom at Phoenix Street where they work out of. And that's some of the luxuries and niceties that isn't necessarily provided by the system. So again, that's in the other trailer, which will be towed by the other minibus. The other stuff, the more important stuff, the serial number items, will be in my vehicle. And I'll be part of this whole move. So they'll be my escort, if you like, on the way back. and we'll go back in a proper road move, following convoy discipline and all the rest of it.
Cool. Are we able to take a quick look?
Yeah, if you want.
and see what's in there?
This is all the radio and serial number itemed, and also the magazines and stuff for the weapons. Thankfully, there's no ammunition that's expended, all of that. So it is just the more important, definitely the valuable and the countable stuff. That goes with me. Like I said before, as the professional support staff, it's my responsibility to make sure not only it gets out here and is looked after properly, but it's returned properly and then accounted for. And there's a weapon that's broken, so again, that will be isolated and all reported as soon as we get back and taken out of the system as a non-task worthy. That's nothing wrong with that, It's there's a lot of activities they've done this weekend and only one weapon damaged, so that's not bad actually.
The relationship is intrinsic. We wouldn't be able to come to a camp like this without the PSS. For me as a company commander, the relationship with Steve, my member of permanent staff, is vital. We speak regularly, probably weekly if not more, about company issues, because Steve will very often see things on his rounds that I don't, and we'll have that conversation. And I very often ask Steve's advice on company matters, because I know he's very experienced. He's been in D company far longer than I have, so I do value his opinion. And I class Steve as a member of my HQ. I don't see him as separate. I see Steve as intrinsic.
It's not an us and them. You've got to appreciate that they're doing probably the harder job, is inspiring the cadets, whereas I'm doing the bit that you don't see perhaps, but perhaps it's as important. Theirs is vital, they're the ones that inspire all these youngsters to do amazing things.
A couple of weeks before we come away, he's already getting things ready, he's already preparing the company stores, he's already making sure that we've got the things we need a couple of weeks before we come. On the day, yes, I've got volunteers assisting him on the Friday that we come. But the weeks before that, Steve's doing all that pre-work to make sure our paperwork is correct, that we are compliant with the military systems that we have to be compliant with, and Steve's doing all that behind the scenes that a lot of the adult volunteers don't see, and that's Steve's daytime job, but it's vital for us to get here, and without that we simply wouldn't be here.
So you've been, PSS for 12 years. I suppose what's kept you in it? What keeps you coming back?
That's a good question. Well, I think the longer you do the job, the more experienced you are, and you sort of learn, and you're better able to advise the adult volunteers on what works and what perhaps doesn't work. But also, it's a job that every single time we go away, it might look the same on paper, but they're all different, with different adult volunteers, different cadets. So, you do see, and it's nice to see some of the younger cadets when you saw them when they were sort of 12 as an 18-year-old, and you see them go on to either become an adult volunteer or, go on to bigger and better things in life. And knowing you played a very small part in it, but, you helped sort of develop them as they went through the cadet journey. I love the cadets because being a cadet, you could be perhaps nobody special at school, but you come to the cadets and it's something different, and you've got a different perhaps set of friends, and the CMVQs and the just the cadet syllabus can develop you better as a person. Stuff like this, the field exercise, which you wouldn't experience otherwise, perhaps. So that, again, it's rewarding knowing that you're helping with all of that. So now we're extracting from the area. We've checked all the cadets, their welfare, everybody's happy, all their kit they've got, they're packed onto the two coaches. The second one's now turned up, so they're loaded up. The rest of the cadets that are from Swad and Coat are in that minibus there with all their kit in the trailer, and they're going to go straight to Swad. And then the main party and me will go to range control to book out of the range. So everything's been cleaned. We've done a litter sweep, make sure everything's all right. We've checked all the toilets, there's no nasties in there, and the building's empty and swept and clean. So again, I'm the last person off, and I'll just walk the ground just to make sure there's no obvious things left behind. But other than that, we're ready to go back to Synth in Derby.
So yeah, we'll come out.
Brilliant.
Lovely jubbly.
My name is Gary Delahoyd Brooks and I am the Deputy Chief Executive for the East Midlands Reserve Forces and Cadets Association here in Nottingham. The work you've already seen from our PSS is a great example of the support that we can provide. But that's only a small part of a much bigger picture. Our SCIO, the School Cadet Engagement Officer, provides the combined cadet forces with advice, practical support and above all else encouragement to grow their cadet forces within the schools. To enable our adult volunteers and cadets to train, we provide key management services to the estates across the region which are utilised by all the MOD sponsored cadet forces. As you will have seen from our estates episode, we are responsible for overseeing and delivering transformative estates projects which will support our cadet forces going forward. So whether it's supporting cadet units through our permanent support staff, our School Cadet Engagement Officer, maintaining facilities, or by empowering our adult volunteers, our goal, our single goal, remains the same. We exist to champion, support and enable our people, the cadets.